Hello, welcome back. We're back again to the All Tab podcast. You know what it is. It's not Wednesday anymore.
It's not.
But decidedly I decided and then Jacob agreed that we should upload on Fridays, 3 p.m. Eastern, same time, but different date. Just it's a Friday, it's a Friday vibe. I feel like that's when everyone's like off work or getting off work. It's their last work week. So Fridays. And yeah, so I can't quite remember what happened last episode. I don't think we talked about us potentially leaving. I kind of just like in the middle decided that I was gonna push away from this whole thing, mainly because like I always have this issue with like starting something, and then if I go long enough, it kind of gets to the point where like I'm just so like creatively stunted that every week it kind of feels like I'm going through the motion. And I feel like that wasn't really the best thing to do every week. Cause then, like, I don't know. Me personally, like, if I do that, I over time, like, build resentment. And I'm just like, fuck, dude, I gotta do this every fucking week. And it was kind of getting to that point because, like, it was nice. Like, it's definitely nice getting together every week because I mean, even like it would be even nicer now because like we're so busy. Just
Yeah.
get together every week and kind of catch up on each other's lives and talk about the things we normally can't on weekdays. So yeah, that's always the notion. That's always like kind of the direction I want to take with the podcast, just kind of two friends catching up and whatnot. But I think over time, I just kind of lost that vision.
Yeah.
And we were like, a lot of the times we were just kind of reading off notes. And then it also came to the point where we added so many segments that, like, when it became to each other segments, we kind of just like, I don't know, me personally, like, when it comes to certain segments, I tried so hard to like pay attention. But on some weeks, I'm just like, I'm not there. Like, you're
Mhm.
talking about wrestling. I'm like, I want to be there. And there were some weeks I'm just like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then, like Squiddy, our third member, he can't join right now, but when he was our third member, like sometimes he would have certain weeks where like he would be a little bit more, you know, on the lower, less excited tone. So, whenever he's going through like the Valorant stuff, I'm like, not a lot of energy and all that. But so it's just like that kind of accumulated. I was like, let's just put a stop to this. I'm always the person to put a stop to these podcasts. I'm like, season one, season two, season three. And this is just like, I'm not going to do seasons no more. This is just like, we're kind of just back kind of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you want to add your input, that's kind of like what happened behind the scenes. I didn't really feel like it was necessarily necessary to make an episode for that. I don't know, maybe we should have, but I had to
Yeah.
organize my thoughts.
It's all good. No, but I mean what you say, I could definitely see it being that. I think for myself, I was just kind of just going through the motions, just trying to keep up appearances basically, and just try to get information to keep it going. But um, yeah, I mean, if the drive isn't there or the passion for it or the want to do it, then there's no point in like forcing you to do it, sort of thing. So
Yeah, exactly. It's gotta be fun.
yeah.
So, I mean, I guess just for me, this time my approach isn't gonna be more like, because like it always happens where like I'm just always going back to the scripted stuff, um, and that's where I just don't shine because I read off information, I write down information, and I read off information, and that information, I say it, but it never like I never marinate in that stuff. So it just kind of I'm like just regurgitating whatever's on the internet. So I think from here on out, I'm gonna talk more about just I don't know, whatever I want that week and not like research so deep into things that like I should be talking about, like, game news and whatever there is.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna go through the more organic. I mean, that's what I do with D&D. Like I do a baseline of research, but I don't do it so much to the point where like I get so detached to the whole game. Cause like the whole impromptu thing is what makes me excited for D&D. Like I know a lot of you guys plan a lot of your stuff, which I think is great, but I just can't operate in that space. And same goes for the podcast. So it's just gonna be a stream of consciousness, and if I say stuff that isn't true, then I guess someone can fact check me. So whatever comes out of my mouth, it may be very wrong. It's just gonna be like personal anecdotes on most stuff. So there's that discretion. And
Yeah, I
yeah,
think like for myself too, like I'm not necessarily going to like look up game news and just read off game news and things like that. Like if there's a certain game that I see that I want to talk about, I'll talk about it. Um, but yeah, the only thing that I'll have that's like necessarily structured in what to talk about is just going to be D&D. But
yeah,
it's mainly just going to be like a question here or there, and we just talk upon that question, and it's sort of like a 5 to 10 minute thing. We don't go super far into detail, and then, or if we wanted to, we can go longer. But like my thing is like, oh, we doesn't have to be longer than 10 minutes. I'm not gonna interview you in a sense. Like I just want to ask one question, and then we kind of just bounce off each other. Off.
yeah. And I think a good practice for. Can you hear anything in the background?
No, but you are kind of low. I don't know if that's me.
I don't. I did check myself.
I know when you were like you
Uh,
kind of moved
uh,
back. You were kind of low as you like moved away from your mic, but
yeah. I might be low. There's no. I'm not sure if there's like a feedback thing I could do on here.
I mean I can just turn up my end. It might just be my headset. But no, you're good.
Um, yeah, I think if like just for like major things that we do want to cover, because like I'm sure there's gonna come a point where like there's something you're super passionate at, and you want to cover that stuff. Like ahead of time, if you just let me know like all the things you want to cover, I can look at it, marinate myself in it a little bit. Um, that way I can more easily stay engaged because I have a really hard time like when someone's going about like their passion for like longer than 30 minutes and I have no idea what they're talking about. It's really hard. It's not that because I don't care. It's just in my head, it's just so hard to like digest everything. So like
Mhm.
wrestling, for example, I feel like wrestling is a super loaded topic and there's so much to talk about. And like you're really good at like name dropping. Like you're good at remembering names. So when you say names, I'm like, bro, I'm so bad at
Mm.
remembering names. Like, bro, even like Marvel stuff. I love Marvel stuff. I don't even know half of the fucking heroes on there. So like, so yeah, this is more of a my issue. So I guess when it comes to that big stuff you want to talk about, just let me know and I'll do my best to like do more research on it so I can stay engaged for a longer period of time and I
Well,
can think of questions to ask. I think that's
yeah.
important as well.
Well, speaking of Netflix, I mean, sorry, not Netflix, wrestling. It's on Netflix
Okay.
now.
Oh, is it?
So Monday Night Raw, it's on Netflix,
Oh, I
and
saw the advertisement for it.
and it's live on Mondays. So,
Oh
and then it's also
shit.
too you can watch the reruns of it on Netflix. So,
Monday Night Raw. Is John Cena like doing stuff or is this Monday
so
night completely different?
John Cena's doing stuff on SmackDown, because he's gonna be facing Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania for the title.
Oh shit. I'm gonna watch that one.
Yeah, because he's a bad guy now.
Yeah, he became the there's like a term,
Heel.
the heel. Yeah. Why is it called a heel? What does that mean?
Oh, that's just what they
So
said.
the
Baby
heel
face
is
and
just like a
heel.
bad guy
Yeah,
in
and then a baby
wrestling.
face. Yeah, so face and heel. Yeah, a lot of the times when they like, usually they don't talk about their stuff when it comes to wrestling. Like they keep it, what was it, kayfabe or kayfabe? That's how you pronounce it.
Mhm.
Um, but it's a lot of carny talk. So it's like because it started like
Okay.
in carnivals or things like that. So yeah, that's what it ended up.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what they mean by heel. but I would just assume that was a wrestling term.
Yeah,
But yeah, fuck, I lost my train of thought. I was gonna talk about something.
I bet.
No, 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 you're fine. No, just saying that like I feel like the best podcast moments we have is like when we dive into a topic and then we just kind of like bounce around and it becomes super organic. I think those are the times I have like the best times and I can't exactly pinpoint how to get there or the moment those moments we've had, but whenever we do like, it just feels like we're in like voice chat
Yeah.
and talking about fucking whatever and like this topic. Yeah. So I think for a while too, I was just too like headstrong about things being super topical and like topics matter, segments matter. I don't know why I got into that space. I was thinking too much into like production, I think.
Well, if we ever blow up
Self-reflected, I guess.
and
Yeah.
in need of production, then that's definitely something to keep in mind and have it in the back.
Yeah. Well, we're 10 minutes deep and we've covered a lot.
Yeah.
I can't lie. All right. So just going back to scheduling a little bit, it's going to be I'm not going to say it's going to be whenever we do upload, it's going to be Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm not going to promise that we're going to upload weekly just because our schedules are super sporadic and it's going to come to a point like where one week we're both not going to feel it and or another week Jacob's not going to feel it or I'm not going to feel it. I don't want to force an episode and have it repeat the same cycle. So there could be weeks where we skip an episode or we could go, we go double or we go on a streak. It just all depends on how we're feeling and like if we actually want to talk that day. Obviously, like if that goes on for too long, then there's also a bigger issue that needs to be addressed. But I think going like every other week is a pretty healthy schedule. And if we feel good about it, we can obviously, increase the frequency. So it's gonna be Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Let's say for now, just like every other week.
Yeah.
So there's not too much pressure to record every week. And yeah, I mean, do you want to talk surely about? I mean, it doesn't have to be short because we have a lot of time now. You want to talk a little bit about your segment, or I guess like a collective segment that you're gonna do
Um.
or that
Well,
you're working on?
yeah. Basically, I just want to do like D&D stuff. And with that, I mean, just like whether or not like getting more in depth of like what I do behind the scenes when it comes to like behind the screen in a sense. Usually a DM has a screen there and it has like all the different stuff
Yeah,
and things like that. Just maybe talk about that. Any like not I can't think of the word. I guess not necessarily like troubles or like hills I have to climb to like figure out certain things or yeah, because this is my first time DMing right a campaign, and I know we've been doing this now for
I lost count.
6
I
months
always lose
now.
count.
About six
Yeah,
months that we've been doing this.
yeah.
And then yeah, just also to like keeping it going. Also asking you questions. Um, and like you've already said, like you like the impromptu stuff, but diving more into like maybe doing structured for the next campaign sort of thing. Not this next one, but maybe it was like a homebrewed one sort of situation,
Yeah.
and just like your favorite moments and like what it meant to you, sort of thing. And it doesn't have to necessarily be this campaign. It could be in Tomb of Annihilation because we never necessarily got to talk much about that.
Still gotta bring
um,
Ravine on for that. That episode never happened.
uh,
uh,
yeah. So just D&D centric stuff, and then just kind of like picking your brain about certain things, and also to like what you would want to see in a campaign, like what is off limits, and things like that. Usually like questions that are typically asked during like a session 0, which we never really had. But yeah, just stuff like that. And then also to reflecting on the campaign, any like funny moments that you had, crazy moments that you think, favorite NPCs, interactions. Um, and when we talk about it, like not every time that we talk about D&D is going to be all that stuff collectively. It's just going to be, one question sort of thing, just sort of side quest in a sense, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I kind of was thinking about calling it, or other different names every different time, but like side quest is sort of a
What was it before?
borrowed knowledge. If you
Borrow
were,
knowledge.
it was a spell of warlock skit, and
Was it?
yeah, we were Mordai and friends, and so
Oh, this is too annihilation. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, well, that's probably gonna be the one segment we'll have. I don't
yeah,
wanna oversaturate it like last time. Cause I
yeah.
remember like I told you in DM, like I would be editing these episodes and then it would if we had like an hour, for example, of record time, it'd be 45 minutes of segments. I'm like, at that point, it's not segment, it's like a whole like I guess it is a segment, but usually like when you think of segments and podcasts, like you think
It's like you have a conversation and you jump into a
yeah.
segment and you go back into talking, and then it's just
Yeah. So there was very little like space where you could just kind of like talk about wherever whatever.
yeah.
Like week by week, it was just like someone's gonna talk 30 minutes about something, and then so
But yeah, that's really all I have. I mean, also too, like we could talk about like not necessarily like segments. Like if we wanted to do a different segment, like maybe to like start, there's something like we can dive into the whole alt tabbing thing, right? Like,
right,
because like don't want to say it right, but the Chat GPT, right, gave me like ideas, and like they talk about like jumping through the windows of our lives kind of situation, right? Like
yeah,
stories, hot takes, failures, wins, and all the weird tabs that we have going on in our brains. Um, and so it's like we can talk about like a funny story of something that goes sideways in our life, lessons that we learned, or something that was just like chaos, just like different things, right? Like our task manager, our CPU is our brain, like what's
our
going on in our brain
CPU,
at this time, you
yeah,
know?
and our RAM is
Um,
our load.
but yeah, we can talk about like any obsessions that we may have that week, stressors. Because like you said, we might not record every week. So if it's every other week, there's 2 weeks there that we haven't really necessarily talked. Um, maybe something that we're focused on, um, something that you want to forget, move on from the past week, let go, sort of thing.
I don't know, let go of
Um,
every week, dude. Fuck every week.
But yeah, or like opening a new tab, any new experiences that you want to
Sure.
try, situations and things like that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Some weeks there's just really nothing to talk about.
mm,
But then again, like when I think back to that time period, like we were also like, I didn't have like a full time job. I was just kind of home gaming, studying and whatnot. And now it's like different. Like we don't game every day. It's like, every weekend. So
yeah,
there's probably a little bit more stored to talk about. We used to hang out like, I don't know, like fucking 3, 4, 5 hours a day, like every day.
and now it's just Friday
Now it's
night
just
for
like
D&D,
Friday and then Saturday
Saturday
maybe,
maybe, and then
Sunday
Sunday possibly.
possibly. Oh man. And then Squiddy's just like, nowhere to be seen. He's got
hmm
his own stuff going on.
Yeah, I
So,
asked him if he wanted to go into voice chat today, and he was on for another 2 hours. Got off, got back on, never responded to my message. So,
he's got some stuff going on, which is fine. That happens.
yeah,
If anything, like, I did talk to him about like personally about like D&D stuff or not D&D, the podcast. He said he's got some stuff going on and he'll think about it. I made it very low pressure. If anything,
yeah,
he could, for some D&D segments, we could have him on for like maybe 20 minutes while we do the segment, have his input. I think that's fine.
yeah.
Same thing with like Wrath. Like he's someone that can't really commit to a schedule because he's in the military and it's super volatile. So, and then
Also,
guest
too, like,
appearances doesn't have to be like a full episode. So,
I mean, I don't know if you would want to do it, but I know, like, you said that you would probably be editing the videos. And if it's every other week that like I said, we don't necessarily know week every other week. Um, if not able to record with us at that time, a day that they're able to just record a quick 5 minutes, and you could just like splice it into the video and
yeah,
just like,
yeah, for sure.
And so yeah,
See how awkward that is for them. And,
yeah, that's true.
they're just like sitting there recording. I actually can't imagine them doing that by themselves. I feel like they'll just be like, so I mean,
Oh no, no, like
Squiddy.
we can jump in and
Yeah, I
record
know,
with
I
them, yeah,
know,
and
I
then
know what
spice
you
it up.
mean.
Um, but yeah, yeah.
A lot of flexibility. I mean, yeah. Aside from that, I mean, there isn't really anything else. I guess like maybe one thing I did want to talk about, not relating to the thematical thing about this for this episode, but lately I have been noticing like I realize I don't do a lot of like it sounds bad. I do when I do self-reflection, I do it well, but the frequency of self-reflection for me just doesn't happen that much. Um I could attribute it to me being busy or maybe I'm just like I don't know, when I'm gaming, like that self-reflection time is put into gaming, so it just kind of gets neglected. Um, but lately, since I don't have that much time to game, and then when I do come home and I have time to game, I'm just too tired. Like I'm starting to get like what you meant when you finish work and you're just fucking too tired to play games at all. And I'm like, damn, like if I was in your shoes and I can't imagine me coming back home from work and playing Valorant for like the next 4 hours. Like I would pass out because I like I can't even get on and play fucking Arc sometimes when Arc is like the most like sometimes you do one of the most mundane tasks of just like mining metal.
Mhm.
Like last week I went for a straight week. I'm like I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna play fucking games, and then I would come home and I would just go lay down, and then I would wake up at 1 a.m. like well it's too late now. But yeah, just going back to the topic, yeah, like just lately I've been doing a little bit more of like self introspection. I don't know if that's the word. Um, I was just discovering things about myself that I never thought I knew or had. And I guess the one big thing was like I'm on social media so much these days. Like I'm just constantly on my phone. Um, I think it's just gone worse since I started working. I don't know why. Maybe I just need something to like lessen the I don't know, the physical exhaustion I get. But
Mhm.
there's just like I have like this brain fog that goes over my head when I'm on the internet for too long. You know how like you I feel like a lot of people can relate to this. Like you watch a video and then you go to the comments immediately to see like what people are saying. I
Mhm.
do that for fucking everything. And
Yeah,
TikTok,
same.
that's like the meta. Like you
Yeah.
watch for like 5 seconds and you're like, fuck, what are they saying? What are the highlighted comments? Like what's the blue comments that you can click on? Um, and I feel like that kind of creates a brain fog where like you're always watching something, that's an opinion, that's true or not. And then you go to the comments and there's like a million of other opinions. And 99%, no, I'm not gonna say 99, 90% of the time, whatever they say is just so negative. And it's just regurgitated like echo chamber bullshit on every single video that like and it's worse because it's for you page. So like
Mhm.
you interact X amount of time on the video that gives you brain fog, you're gonna get 10 times of whatever you've been watching. And I realize I'm like, I'm starting to think a certain way because I'm watching these videos and reading these comments and it like elicits a certain thought. And I'm just like, wow, I got to the point where like I'm on social media so much that I can't even think properly for myself.
Mhm.
I'm like, I have like this immediate reaction to like whatever I watch. And it's just like, man, that's kind of sad.
I guess the difference for me is when I do look at the comments, it's either on a funny video, right?
Yeah.
Or and so like I like to see what people say because like I like to read the funny comments. Or it's like if I have a thought and it's like I wonder if anybody else had thought about this too, and I would go through the comments to
Yeah.
see if anyone else had it too. And then once I
Mhm.
see, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm validated. I click X and I go to the next video. It's just like that's me when it comes to the
Yeah.
comments.
I
Like
mean,
I
that's
just
honestly much healthier.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess I don't necessarily pay attention to like the negative stuff, or like I see it like, damn, I can't believe they said that, and I just go to the next comment. Like I just
Right.
go through. I'm just like, okay, and then yeah, I just um,
Yeah. I think my For You page is now catered to like a lot of it's just like clips of like streamers and like the
mm,
stuff they do. I'm like, this is obviously like super fucked up. And then you go to the
yeah,
comments, they're like, let's go with this person. I'm like, no, like, why are you guys saying all this stuff? So
Yeah.
then that interaction, and then it just keeps going. So yeah,
Gotta click that share button and click not interested so it stops
I
bringing those
know I
videos.
have to do that. Oh
But yeah, I guess for me, like my For You page is, I guess, doesn't necessarily have that negative stuff in it. Because really it's all like a couple's video.
right,
It's like a pet's video. The only ones I do hate is when it's like the pet that's dying video, and it's like
yeah,
my
I
pet
don't,
died, and it's like he's like he didn't know that this was the last time that I was gonna walk him outside, and it's like why would you? Why? Like and it's always that one to
yeah,
where it's like the camera's there and you see them walk outside. I was like, so
yep,
you're telling me that you set up your camera,
yeah,
recorded you walking your dog out for the last time, went
mm-hmm,
back and grabbed your phone. I guess in a sense you necessarily didn't know unless you were going to get them euthanized, right? You're going to go put them to sleep, and
right.
you like make that video. Now I can get like you're going to walk your dog and your dog got hit by a car or something, right? It's like you necessarily didn't think that was going to happen,
Yeah, they're not gonna grab their
but
phone.
yeah, it's like you record and go grab it and go back. Like those videos are always just like I guess you're just constantly recording your life in case something happens, and it's like oh I can put it on TikTok. But um, yeah, I guess I really haven't gotten a lot of negative stuff. I guess when they start talking about negative things, I quickly move out of the next video, so that way it's like the algorithm doesn't catch it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like yeah. I think I've developed like a certain response now because of that. So, whatever anything like it's just it's crazy because this is something I didn't like notice like even like 5 years ago. But when someone posts anything now, like there will always be like that opposition no matter how good
Mhm.
it is. And I don't know, like human psychology, but I'm always drawn to the negative, unfortunately. I think everyone is that way, unless like for you example, like you go out of your way to go not interested, but I just get fucking tranced or whatever. Um, but I think you also notice this when you're talking to me in like Discord, like when you bring up something that's positive or I bring up something positive, like arc and whatnot, like I always look the other side. I'm like, well, the fucking Snail Game Studio, they're fucking dog shit. Instead of just like being like, oh, like this is cool, like, and then just move on with my day. But like, I just have that immediate response
Mhm.
of doing that with everything. It's so bad. Like like I try not to like in person. I really try not to because I think that's also a learned habit from like when I grew up. Um, I don't want to speak too much into like my personal life, but like my role models, they've always responded in like the opposite direction.
Mhm.
Not for like not because it's like bad, but just as a precaution. So I think that also has effect on it. But yeah, like when for example, if like Wrath texted me like, "Oh, I got a 40 bomb," like, well, like that was like a bronze lobby. I'm like, why do I gotta say that? I'm like,
I
yo, that's dope, and like I could just move on. But like in my head, I'm like, okay, that was just a bronze lobby. Like, of course you got a 40 bomb. And
yeah.
logically that makes sense, but like no one wants to hear that.
Mhm.
I certainly don't. So like, yeah,
I guess it goes more into the empathetic side, like maybe like empathy is not necessarily your strong suit. Um,
maybe not.
and it's like with time you'll work on it, but also too knowing you since you were younger. Don't take this the wrong way, but like you were like you're very impressionable, right? It's like the people like there's that saying like a product of your own environment kind of situation.
Yeah.
And it's like when you were doing Fortnite competitive, like I knew you before you went to Fortnite competitive, and then
Yeah.
when you got on a team and you started like hanging around certain people,
Yeah.
your attitude changed. And
Yeah.
it's like, and then the
I
moment that you
become the
stopped hanging
environment.
around them, yeah, and then you stopped hanging around them, and then like you changed,
Yeah.
and then it's like, I guess for instance, Marvel Rivals, you're like, I can't play this game anymore. It's like it's making me toxic. It's like
And I just
those
played.
people, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
um,
Yeah. I'm very impressionable. I take on like people's personality very
mm,
easily if I'm around them a lot. So
but I mean, as long as you know that, that's something that you can definitely work on. And it just takes time. And the fact that you are self reflecting is a good thing. So,
yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's been in my head for as long as I've done my self reflection.
yeah, I feel you on that.
was like, damn, I didn't know I was this way. Cause it's just, it became such a like response,
Mhm.
like a habit. Definitely helps having a girlfriend because I have to be more sensitive about certain things that I'm usually not with like my friends. So, like when she's happy about something, I try my best to look at like what makes her happy
Yeah,
and all the positives instead of being like, okay, well, this is fucking stupid. Like I never think it's stupid, but my dad though this does this a lot. Like he always sees the flip side of it,
mhm.
and like it just makes it less fun and
Yeah,
not as so like I I try not to do it. It's funny because, like, I feel like there's so many people or these days that really try not to be their parents because their parents was a certain way and you don't wanna repeat that cycle,
gotta
and
break
then
that cycle.
the more you grow up, you end up becoming more like your parents because I realize, like, the more you try not to become your parents, it's so impossible because, like, that's all you've known. Like,
Yeah,
that's you've learned their coping mechanism to be your own as well. So, like, I do certain things, I'm like, "Wow, I'm just like my dad," or I'm like, "I'm just like my mom." It's like, "Fuck, I tried so hard to not bring these aspects to, like, other people," and then fuck it, it just happens. So,
yeah.
it's crazy, man.
As children, we're wired to think that our parents know everything. But honestly, they're just adults that don't know everything. They're flying by the seat of their pants. And it's
Exactly.
like, I think once we start realizing that, like, they're just people. Like, they didn't have an instruction manual with you, right? Like, you didn't come with one. And it's just
Nope.
like everything that they did was their choice. And it's like it kind of sucks because if they don't necessarily know that, like, oh, I'm this kid's role model. And it's like
Right.
I need to better myself so that way they better themselves. Like if they want to learn from me, fine, but they in the future need to be better than me. And it's like,
Yeah, exactly.
and so, and most parents don't realize that, and they're like, they're trying to mold their children into something when they shouldn't, because honestly, as a parent, you should be there to guide your children. You shouldn't dictate the way that their lives go. I mean, you can instill, virtues and responsibility and things like that, treat people how you want to be treated kind of situation. And if they start like veering off the path, you can nudge them a bit. But it's like you can't necessarily like dictate the entire trajectory of their path because you get to choose what you want to be.
Yeah, it's like that quote that I just forgot. God damn. No, it's like, um, fuck, what is it? Ah. They just your parents want what's best for you or, like, parents want what's best for their children, and I feel like that gets so lost in its definition of they just kinda, like I think there's a lot of parents that, like, try to compensate for the mistakes they made, so they try to make you the version that they want it to be, and now they obviously I don't know if it's too late, but, like, they've obviously passed that threshold that they
Yeah.
wanted to, like so I think that definitely happens a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I
You
mean,
just
we always look
yeah,
towards our parents, and when we see them do something, we're like, oh, I mean, if it works for them, then I guess I can apply it to my life too. And it's just like,
yeah,
no, I need to not do that if it's bad. Like,
yeah. Yeah, that's my brain fog.
dude, you might need to take some medicine, dude.
I might need therapy.
I mean,
I'm
therapy
like
is always good for
I'm
everybody.
like, I need someone to talk to this about that's, like, all, like, outside of all the mess. I always say it, I'm like, "I need therapy," and I never get to it because I
Well,
think
once you get a
about how much money
job
it's gonna be.
and that
Yeah.
gives you insurance,
Yeah,
like,
benefits and shit, yeah.
yeah. Well, I guess necessarily you're in Canada, so you got free healthcare, right?
I do, but
Is therapy part of that?
I don't know if it's covered. I think it should be, but we don't have insurance.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that. Because I got insurance and like I think my no is my therapy no my therapy is covered. If I wanted to get therapy, it's covered.
No, there's like a flat fee that we also pay, but we don't. Like so okay, so there's like a baseline of things that are covered by our healthcare,
Hmm.
but like beyond that, like dental stuff, like you still need insurance to have it
Oh,
covered. We don't have that because we don't go to the hospital that much. So we just pay up front every time we go. So I feel like therapy's not covered by our base healthcare. It might be. I have no idea. Like just checkups and all that stuff.
Mm.
Um, that's all covered. Like just basic, like, remove your earwax or like whatever, like, go to the optometrist. Like that's all covered. But something that's more specialized, like if I'm getting my cavity filled, that's like fucking, $500 out the window if you don't have
Damn.
insurance. Yeah.
Yeah, therapy is about $60 to $250 in Canada per session.
Yeah, I figured. That shit's
Depending on who
expensive.
you go to. Because really,
Yeah.
the way therapy is just you're just talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Like they don't tell you. They literally
No.
how does that make you feel, and like you just talk about it, and it's like they
Right.
don't give you any answers because they can't necessarily do that.
No.
They can't tell you how you're feeling. You got to come up with that on your own, which is crazy that we spend money to do that.
That is true, but I mean, I guess like their whole thing is like they're trying to ask you the right
The right
amount
questions.
of questions to like get you there. Whereas
Mm.
like maybe by yourself, that's really difficult because you're super biased to yourself, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Just ask ChatGPT to be your therapist and just type
yeah,
the
just be like,
questions
hey,
to.
dude, like they're like, like if you're having some thoughts, you should. uh Anyways, I didn't mean to get too fucking crazy on the first episode, but yeah, I mean, you can expect more of that, I guess. Um, that's kind of the route I'm pointing towards, at least for the future episodes. Do you have anything else before we end? We're at 40 minutes,
No,
just
I got
right
nothing
about the
else.
time. All right, guys. Well, that has been our reboot episode re-debut. Our third debut. Um, And yeah, expect us to see every other Friday. I guess subject to change depending on how we feel after, I guess, a few months, or maybe we'll be able to tell after a few weeks. But yeah, not every. God, I'm so used to saying that. Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, whenever that's uploaded.
Yeah,
Spotify, YouTube.
that's really it, right? Spotify and YouTube.
Yeah, I have to work on the other ones, but I don't know if that's super relevant. They get no views. So like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah, Spotify and YouTube.
Yeah,
And then
rate
on
us five
YouTube, don't
stars.
forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification and
Share
5 stars on Spotify.
What's your brain fog?
And whoever listens on Riverside.
Oh, true. It's funny. There are actually listeners of Riverside. And
I
remember that
remember you
one
saying
guy
that last time.
that one guy commented? I'm like, this
Yeah.
motherfucker. He's kinda right, but that was mean. All right, peace out, y'all. Bye.
Bye.